Here's a tweet from the Daily Beast, Swin Subasang. God damn it, is the Gary Hart movie going to try to make us feel guilty for covering sex scandals of public figures? Joining me to help answer that question is actor Sarah Paxton, who plays Donna Rice in the new film The Frontrunner, about the scandal that rocked the 1988 Democratic primary. Thanks for joining us, Sarah.
Thanks for having me.
Thrilled you're here. So the film focuses on this primary where Gary Hart had to resign from the race due to an affair he was having with Donna Rice. How much did you know about Gary Hart and Donna Rice before the film?
It's interesting, actually, because I did know a little bit about the story, even though I was being born while this was happening, yeah. So I don't have any actual memories or recollections.
You're like, I was in uterus, yeah. So I remember it very well.
I was a fetus. Yeah. It was a tough time. But I had been listening to this podcast called Radio Lab a couple years before I got the script, and the episode was about Gary Hart and the scandal and Donna Rice and everything that happened, and I thought it was really fascinating. I thought the story was... It was just so interesting to me that not a lot of people were talking about this moment in our history, and that I didn't know about it previously. And then I got the script for the movie, and I was really excited because I was familiar, and I saw that I was going to be auditioning to play Donna Rice, and I was really curious to see how they were going to portray Donna, because I think it could, go a few different ways, and I was just so excited that the version of Donna that they had written was with, dignity and respect, and she wasn't just like this caricature, one-dimensional person that she sort of had been portrayed as 30 years ago.
Well, and after all this happened, Donna Rice went on to sort of work in public policy as an advocate for internet safety. Did you meet with her or speak with her about the role?
I didn't.
Did you want to?
I did want to. I mean, I still want to. I haven't met her yet. I haven't spoken to her. I would love to. But before we started filming the movie, I was talking about it with Jason, and we decided that I wasn't seeking to mimic her or do an impersonation of her in any way. I really just wanted to capture the empathy of this woman in this situation, and I just used the script as my roadmap. It was all there for me. I mean, I did do as much research as I could on her. There wasn't a whole lot out there from that time, I think, because the internet, it wasn't as prevalent as it is now, obviously. But I read the book that the film is based off of, All the Truth Is Out by Matt Bai, and that was amazing. There was just so much in there.
Well, it's funny, you mentioned a little bit about the script had the empathy in there. Obviously, in the sort of last few years, particularly with kind of the Me Too movement and various things, we've been sort of re-examining how people Monica Lewinsky and Mary Jo Kopechne have been kind of portrayed in the media. And what did it mean to you to kind of humanize Donna Rice?
Well, I mean, I felt it's really intimidating to... I felt like I had this really big responsibility, because I am portraying the darkest moment of her life, and she's alive. She can watch a performance, and I had never played a real person before, and so it was really intimidating, and it felt like a really big responsibility to do that justice, and I heard, but Jason told me that she's one of the first people that he showed the movie to, and that she loved it.
Phew.
Yeah, I know. She loved it, and she was happy with my performance, and so that's just the most gratifying thing that I could hear, because she's the critic that I was the most worried about.
The toughest review of all,
Yeah. So I'm happy.
Did working on the film make you change your mind at all how politicians should have a private life and what the media could kind of cover? Did that change?
It's tough because, I feel like I have, if anything, more questions than ever before. Because,
like what?
Well, I think that part of what's so great about this movie is that it's not... It doesn't take it's not making a hard point, It really just, it asks the questions of the audience, and puts them up for debate for them to decide and to discuss amongst themselves. And I think that's really great. You go to the movies and it starts this conversation. Not everyone's going to feel the same way. And I learned a lot while I was working on this, particularly about you know, how the news cycle has changed so much. I mean, by the time I was, you know, like I said, I was a fetus, but by the time I was even like cognizant of the news, it sort of already was like in that 24-hour news cycle, you know. And even though I was obviously aware that like people used to get their news from like the paper hitting the stands and sort of like wait for it, I didn't know how much it had changed and how this time period really was that moment when it flipped. I didn't know that this was when, you know, the invention of like the satellite news van came about, and reporters were getting satellite phones, and so for the first time ever they could sort of report from wherever they were, and that was really interesting to learn. And not only that, but while we were filming, sort of the landscape was changing beneath our feet as well. And so, yeah, and it keeps changing every day, constantly. So I don't have the answers.
Well, then it makes the film feel very current as well.
It does.
So one thing I wanted to ask you is Hugh Jackman plays Gary Hart in the film. Everyone always says he's delightful and so wonderful to work with, but what's the real dirt? What's he really like?
It's true. I mean, it's so true. He's really one of the nicest people that I've ever met, just in life. He's so professional and like positive and upbeat, and he genuinely makes every single person feel like they're his friend, and then he turns around and delivers this like really powerful performance.
Right.
And that's really impressive. I've learned a lot from working with him.
Well, one of the things I love in the film is your hair. You have like, it's a very 80s vibe.
Yeah.
Do you have any 80s style icons?
80s style icons. Okay, well, I gotta say, I'm not quite sure what year this movie came out, but
Google.
But Overboard, Goldie Hawn on the boat, the bathing suits,
I know what
the
you
glasses,
mean. That's
the hair.
80s.
That's 80s.
Yeah.
I think it's like late 80s, but that's sort of like my go-to.
You were giving me Olivia Newton-John vibes.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that hair. Well, they gave me like a real 80s haircut, so I had like just like 2 shelves cut into my head for like a year. But I'm excited.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate the discussion today. Of course, The Front Runner comes out November 21st, and more AM to DM is up next.